After being left for dead, Orioles manager Buck Showalter gave outfielder Nate McLouth a shot late last season, and he turned out to be an integral part of the Orioles' playoff run. After an uneventful start to this season, McLouth is at it again, hitting his third home run in his last 5 games Thursday, and is now batting .473 with 15 runs scored, 3 home runs, and 9 RBI in his last 10 games. McLouth has 8 stolen bases on the year, and the 31-year-old somehow looks like the all-star we saw in 2008. If you're wondering how others perceive him, McLouth has seen his fantasy ownership rise from 12% to 79% in the last 2 weeks. Just wanted you to know. Making his 4th start of the year, on the day he was named AL Rookie of the Month for April, Rangers starting pitcher Justin Grimm struck out 9 batters, surrendering 3 earned runs on 6 hits and 4 walks in 6 2/3 Thursday, taking his first loss of the season. Now, Grimm has been a nice surprise with a 2.82 ERA, averaging a strikeout per inning, but beware, his whip of 1.27 does not suggest that this start is sustainable. And keep an eye on Phillies left fielder Dominic Brown. The once highly touted prospect seemed to fall off everyone's radar after not doing much the past few years, but manager Charlie Manuel is running him out there every day now, and he's starting to perform. Brown has 2 home runs and 7 RBI over the last 8 games, and many of his outs lately have been hardline drives directly at outfielders. He's only starting in 48% of the leagues right now, so go grab him and see what Brown can do for you. Brewers center fielder Carlos Gomez continued his blazing stretch at the plate Thursday against the Cardinals with his 4th 2-hit game in a row. As if that wasn't hot enough, he swiped 2 bags to boot. Carlos is now 17 for 33 over his last 9 games, and his 8 extra base hits over that stretch include 3 home runs. With his ability to steal bases, Gomez is becoming a must-have in fantasy. Now, kudos to our own Pat Mayo for pounding the table on Gomez before draft day while everybody else was sleeping on him. Let's bring in Pat right now to talk a little bit about why he was so intrigued while everybody else shied away. Patrick, what did you see in your crystal ball?
The future, Mike. The future.
The future. Well, what did you see in Carlos Gomez?
Well, basically, I've garnered a reputation for seemingly always being down on every player, which isn't true, by the way. But for whatever reason, I do seem to write and talk about players I don't like a lot, so it's understandable. But eventually, you have to buy into certain guys, or you're never going to be satisfied with anyone on your fantasy team. And I looked at Carlos Gomez, especially what he did from last July on last season, and just felt it wasn't a fluke. He's a former top prospect who had been seeing inconsistent playing time, and then something just seemed to click for him. So I checked the advanced stats to see if there were some weird aberrations at play. There weren't. Gomez just took the leap. And at worst, he still had 40 steal upside, and if the power held, he was going to be a top 10 outfielder. And he's being drafted outside the top 30. It just seemed like great value to me. So far, so good.
Nationals outfielder Jason Worth was back in the lineup Thursday after missing 2 games with ankle and hamstring injuries. However, he was forced to leave the game in the 5th inning after his hamstring tightened again. If you're a Worth owner, you need to monitor this closely. Aramis Ramirez will be activated for the DL in time for today's game against the Cardinals. Ramirez has been recovering from a sprained left knee, and Brewers manager Ron Renneke has already stated that Ramirez won't be used on consecutive days for a while, so keep that in mind. And Shane Victorino, who's been on the shelf with a back problem, was available as a pinch hitter last night, but didn't play. He is, however, scheduled to be in today's starting lineup against the Rangers. Michael in Elmont, New York wants to know if I think Clay Buchholz is doctoring the ball. Mike, I got no idea. I know that former big league reliever Dirk Hayhurst accused him of putting some stuff in his hair or his arm or both. He put out some Twitter pictures. And for what it's worth, today Jack Morris came out and said similar stuff. We're going to find out, I guess. He's not going to be able to do anything next outing with the whole world watching his every move. So if he pitches well next outing, that'll probably be the tell. Do your homework before picking up a player. This past week, Ryan Raburn hit .590 with 4 home runs and 9 RBIs, and his ownership in leagues skyrocketed from 1% to 15%. Raburn is a career .259 hitter over 9 seasons, and that includes a whopping 7 points added to his career batting average just by this week's performance alone. If you're picking up Raburn because you think you just found the newest star on the cheap, it's not the case. For RotoExperts, I'm Mike Cardano.